Welcome to the C-Suite Sherpa podcast. I'm your host, Brian Marshall. Our podcast is designed to spotlight great resources, people that work in the C-Suite, advisors, coaches, and the like. And we have a good one with us today. I want to introduce Amy. Amy, I've been looking forward to talking to you ever since you said you wanted to be on our podcast. Tell us a bit about yourself, your business, and who you work with.
Sure. My business, Cornerstone Human Capital, is an executive and career coaching practice, and it focuses on helping leaders and business owners refine their leadership presence, especially during career transitions. I work with individuals to strengthen their communication, build confidence, manage high stakes conversations, and strategically balance personal and professional priorities. So, my goal is to guide clients in becoming more effective, inspiring leaders who can navigate transitions with clarity and impact. I started this business after 20 plus years in human resources because I saw a real need for leaders to have guidance in refining their leadership skills, especially during critical transitions. Helping leaders unlock their full potential is really what
Yeah.
drives me, and I want to create a space where professionals could grow and succeed.
Leadership is a lonely, lonely job. It really is. I can reflect back on my time as a leader, and I didn't have resources like you available. It was pretty much suck it up and figure it out and fake it till you make it and never admit you didn't have the answer. And so as a result, it was like it was a pressure cooker. So I'm curious, what are you seeing in the marketplace in terms of the people you're working with? Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? And then talk about how you address that with your clients.
So, as far as, are you asking like biggest problems that I'm seeing?
That whole idea of leaders not acknowledging, not being vulnerable, not admitting they need help, and the old fake it till you make it routine. Are you finding that people are being more open for help?
You have to be there at the right time. And I think it's really results oriented. If you can tie in the results to what they're doing, they can take it a little more seriously than just saying, oh, I can do this. But if we can tie it in to your actual ROI, they say, hey, tell me more about what you do.
Yeah. So give me an example of the kinds of leaders you work with. Are you dealing with the owners of a company? Are you dealing with people in mid management? What level? Are you working with teams, or is it all one-on-one? Tell me a bit about like who you work with and then how you work with them.
Sure. I work one on one with people. Currently, I'm working with business owners. So they, like myself, have a lot on their plates. So I can really understand what they're going through and the level of commitment and
Right.
the strategies that they're having to implement.
Yeah, and so how are you finding, are these folks that are being referred to you, or how are you finding clients these days? And I ask that because there are going to be both people who are watching this now that may know some people that could use your help, as well as people that need your help. So how are you finding clients, and then how would someone know that they want to work with you? Give me a sense of like you mentioned this transition as a key word you use. So what kind of
Sure.
transition would someone be in as a leader?
So
Amy's.
if they have just taken a new role as a leader, I'm even working with somebody who is in a university who just took on a new leadership role. It's the same thing. It's, whether you're working in an organization or a university, working one on one with people who, it's not just working with leaders, but the transitions that they go through.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because a lot of times we talk about business, but really it's any organization where there's people involved and someone's role is to manage those people, inspire, mentor those folks, be their leader, whether it's not for profit or for profit business. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're spot on. Yeah.
Oh, good. So tell me about really from your perspective, what sets you apart from all the other coaches that are out there who say that they can help leaders. And there are lots of great coaches out there. What differentiates you in the marketplace?
I think it has to do with my background. I have a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology. I have about 20 years experience in HR, and I'm also a certified executive coach. So we think that's pretty well rounded on that aspect. But I also bring this idea of leadership presence. And a lot of people have their own idea of what that looks like. And for me, I call it the intangible quality that sets apart successful leaders and enables them to command respect, build trust, and drive results.
So are you saying presence? By the way, I love that because we all notice when someone has presence, but I don't know that anyone's ever quantified how that impacts people. Because I tell you, when someone has presence, they command the room. That person walks in and it's like they're in charge, right? People gravitate towards that leader. So are you saying presence is something that you can teach people, or is that something that you're born with that you can help refine?
I think it's something that maybe a little of both, but I can definitely help people work on that because I've broken it down into 6 key components. And so we work on those 6 key components as necessary.
Okay,
So that includes communicating with impact, strengthening professional relationships, your personal well being, even. So
right.
things like that.
How about confidence? Is confidence playing to presence?
It's great that you mentioned that because somebody just mentioned the other day, is confidence included? And I absolutely think confidence has to be part of that. And yes, I do talk about that with my clients, that confidence. I work with very successful people, yet they come in and confidence is something we need to work on.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work in that space too, and both as as a leader and someone who needed help, and then as someone as a coach who wanted to help. And you'd be surprised behind the scenes, or you wouldn't, but most people would be surprised behind the scenes when So I remember I was working with someone who was actually fairly well known and famous, if you want to use that word. And they said, Brian, everybody wants to be me except for me. And I remember that really struck me like, because you're right. I mean, you think about this person's got it all. They make a lot of money. They're well known. They're top of their game. And this person was unhappy because they were unfulfilled because they never felt like they belonged. They didn't fit in. They were like, one day they're going to realize I'm not that good of a leader and they're going to not want me to be their leader. And there's a certain that impacts your confidence in your presence when you feel like you're faking it till you make it and everyone else is going to figure out that you just don't belong. So do you see that with a lot of leaders? And if you do, how do you help them, with something like that?
Yes, it's going back and talking about why don't you tell me a time where you were successful and to help remind somebody that you have been successful and you can do it again.
All
But
right.
we need to spark that again and remind ourselves that it is possible.
So if you're a leader sitting here watching this right now, know that you're not alone. If you're feeling that you don't belong, you feel like you're faking it till you make it, and people are going to discover you one day, that reality is most of us feel that. And the good news is there's something you can do about it. Great athletes hire coaches. Some of the best athletes in the world, the old Tiger Woods had 3 swing coaches just for his iron game, and he was the greatest golfer in the world. But yet executives always figure like they got to do this on their own and they shouldn't ask for help. So I'd encourage you to reach out to people like Amy. She'll make a big difference in your life. It takes a lot of courage to ask for help. It actually, courageous people, courageous leaders ask for help and admit that they need help. And plus, if you think about what you're going through now as a leader, think about all the people that you're leading that are going through the same thing. So if you can develop some empathy around that and understand that we're all human beings and we all need to have that encouragement and somebody to mentor us and coach us, but it starts with you. You got to be the example of what it looks like first. So I'm excited. I think you're an awesome resource for the folks that listen to our podcast. So one last question, and then we're going to do something a little bit fun. Not that this wasn't fun, but something a little bit light and humorous. What is probably the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome in your career? And then what was like one big takeaway that you got from that?
Biggest, hmm, I think it was having to do with networking, not continuing to cultivate my network of people before I started my business. And because networking takes time, it's not like you
Right.
can just go to your friends and say, hey, I know it's been about 10 years, but hey, look what I'm doing now. And,
Yep.
and expect something. So, whatever you're doing, I think it's really important to continue to cultivate those relationships, whatever you're doing, because it's going to pay off.
Awesome. That's great. So let's have a little bit of fun. Let's switch gears. We call this the lightning round. I'm going to ask you a series of quick questions. You're going to give me a quick answer. Don't think about it. There's no wrong answer. So if you're ready, we'll start. You
All
ready?
right.
Okay, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay, great. Cats or dogs?
Ooh,
Cats. If you could only grab one weapon or item during the zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
a knife.
Favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
Albert Einstein. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's about being of value to people.
Okay, cool. Do you have a favorite movie of all time? Your favorite movie that you love to watch?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Can I pass on that?
How
All
about a
right.
streaming? You have a streaming series, something that you binge watch, like a TV show, streaming series you watch?
Okay. Real Housewives franchise.
Okay. How about favorite book or book that you've read recently that really impacted you?
I'm actually reading a book called Leadership Presence right now, and it's a pretty great book.
Okay, awesome. All right, bucket list item that you've already accomplished.
Spending time in Paris.
Okay, and how about one that you know that you're going to accomplish, but you haven't accomplished it yet?
Be successful in my business.
Okay, cool. And I'll go back to the one last shot. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie. Oh man,
That's okay.
I'm
You can
just
pass
drawing a.
on it.
I'm just taking got a blank right now.
That's all right. No problem. Listen, Amy, that was fun. I appreciate you having a little bit of fun with us and letting your personality show through. I think what you do is great. I'm really excited about being able to share this with our audience. I think there are a lot of people out there that could use your help. If someone really wants to get in touch with you, they either know someone who needs your help or they and themselves need help. What's the best way for them to contact you? And by the way, we'll put this in when we post it to our YouTube channel, we'll put all this in the description section, but just for the sake of letting people know, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
They can go to my website. It's www.cornerstonehumancapital.com. And my
Terrific.
contact information is in there. You can sign up for a newsletter, but I'd love
Awesome.
to hear
So
from you.
are you okay with me putting your email and your LinkedIn or just those three are okay?
That's fine. Sure.
Perfect. Well, Amy, again, awesome. Great to meet you. We didn't get to talk about this, but Amy actually lives in a town that I came from before I moved down to the coast. And Naperville is especially this time of year with Christmas coming around, Naperville is an awesome place to be. So enjoy your holiday season in Naperville and enjoy the cold weather
I will.
and stay warm. And thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks. Thanks so much. It was great being your guest.